Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us to the Housesit Hangout.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Hi. Thanks for the invitation.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Perhaps you could each introduce yourselves. Just tell us who you are and what you're doing and where you are right now. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Heidi?
Sure, I'll go first. My name's Heidi. I am staying in a refuge, basically, in Portland, UK, which is an island on the south coast. So I can see France on a really good day.
Wow, gorgeous.
So it's lovely. I get the ocean, and nice long walks when I go out. I can take the dogs. They had 4 dogs. They now have 3 dogs. Sadly, one old dog had to be put down, poor thing. So I can take long walks with the dogs. I can go to the Tesco, which is open every day if I need to. The post office is open every day. So I'm not house sitting now, but I can help out with the animals. I was intending to house sit here, but now everything's canceled. Nobody's traveling, so there's no house sitting. So I've been in the UK house sitting since early December 5th, all over the UK. I was supposed to go from my last house sit, which was in Dover, just on the White Cliffs.
Nice.
It was lovely. I was there for a month, and I got to take pictures, and I never walked down actually to the bottom of the White Cliffs because coming back up is a pretty intense walk.
Like that.
Yeah, so I don't think my knees would be very happy with that. So I never made it all the way down. But it was so beautiful, and I had 2 lovely cats that I was taking care of. But when I arrived, I had a 2-week house sit in Dover, and then I went from there to a 3-week house sit in London.
Nice.
With 3 cats. The first house sit was with 3 fluffy dogs.
Oh.
The second house sit in London was with 3 Siamese cats. That was at Christmas time. That was so much fun.
Gorgeous.
And then I went from London to West Sussex for 6 weeks with 2 ponies, 3 dogs, 3 chickens, and a cat who is a real hunter. He caught a squirrel and ate it in front of my eyes.
Whoa! Wow! Type of cat.
Serious hunter. And he has all these bells that her daughter put on him so that he would scare the animals away. But he's figured out how to hunt without making a sound.
Wow.
He sits behind a bush and waits for things to come to him.
God.
Smart cat.
Clever
I saw him sitting under a bush when I woke up and I got out of bed and I saw, Bailey, what are you doing under that bush? He's just sitting there, very not cat-like.
Right.
And then as I was walking away, going in to have my coffee, I went, oh, what a smart cat. He's waiting for his prey.
That is super smart.
Yeah, it really drilled home when I saw him with the squirrel later on that day.
Right.
I was like, oh my goodness. And I waited because he left the squirrel there. And I waited. I knew there was a spade I could go pick it up with and move it and bury it somewhere. But I wanted to wait and see if maybe he was just in shock, and that he would wake up and run away. And I checked back an hour later and he was very much dead.
Oh.
And the next time I went out to look at him, the cat was out there eating him. So he wasn't just playing with it, he was actually using it for food. So
Oh my gosh.
I let him do that. And he
So
left
you
it
have a
with
lot of
the
house
head
sitting
off.
experience there, Heidi.
Yes, very, very full on, very natural world house sitting experience. I wasn't going to leave it for him to demolish over the rest of the week. So I did bury it in the pond.
Oh, nice.
And I put bricks over it so none of the ducks would get to it and none of the dogs would get to it.
Well,
Right.
Kelly, you mustn't let
So
that put you off.
I know.
I have to say, I've done quite a bit of house
I've
sitting, and
been
I've
house
never come
sitting.
across a squirrel being
Yeah,
eaten
I've
in
been
front
house
of me.
sitting for 30 years, and that's the first time that anything like that's ever happened.
Wow.
I have sat
Oh,
for
30
cats. Yeah, I've been doing it for 30 years.
That's
And I've
amazing.
Yeah, it's been great. I have sat in New Orleans. I've have sat for
Oh.
3 years. Through 3 years in Sausalito for one cat.
Oh my
3
God,
years.
I love Sausalito. God, it's so
Yes,
beautiful.
it's
there.
amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful city, and that became my favorite place on the planet. So
Right.
when I sell my first book, I'm going to buy a house in Sausalito on a houseboat.
Amazing. Can I come and house sit with you?
Absolutely. Because I guarantee you I'm going to have animals living there.
Okay, wonderful.
I will have house sitters whenever I'm away, and I plan to be away quite a bit.
Wonderful. Very cool. Very
So, Kelly,
cool.
now you haven't house sat at all.
No, not at all. I'm really, really keen to begin and not really sure how to. I actually went to graduate school in America, and I've just got a lot of love for the US, and would be really keen to explore it further. So I thought that house sitting might be a really great way to do that, really. And like, I grew up with a lot of animals, and now I'm looking after, well, my mum and I are looking after her cat Chi Chi, who is so lazy. He never catches anything. Something to think. He's so spoiled. You know, everyone adores him. He gets lots of food. His like instinct is like shot, I think, in the comfort of
Most
London
cats
life.
have no instinct for hunting anymore.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I won't berate Chi Chi then. Okay.
Yeah. It's very typical. Now all they know is to play. All they do is like, it's fun because it's racing around, and they'll tap it and swat it, but that's all they know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Bailey, the cat who did that deed, was very unusual.
Wow. And a squirrel is big. Like, that's quite.
Yeah, squirrels are really big. I've never seen anything like that.
Wow.
That's quite a meal.
Yeah.
So you're keen to visit America and try house sitting in America? Anywhere else?
Yes. I'd like to try like maybe France too, and Italy, and Australia. I would really like to. So yeah, those are my like favorite destination points. Maybe Argentina.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
The world is your oyster.
Wow.
I hope so. Yes.
And
So I'm.
Brigitte, sorry.
No, please.
And Brigitte, have you house sat before, or do you have house sitters in your home?
No, I haven't had house sitters in our home because I usually have the kids watching our cats and chickens and stuff like that. So I haven't had a need for house sitters. But we are starting to plan our retirement, my husband and I, and that was one way we thought we could visit. We also have had exchange students over the years. We're up to 6 different ones. And so they all know that when we retire, we're going to go hit them all up for, tours in their area and stuff like that. So we have this grand world tour my husband and I planned after he retires and such, that we will go visit all these places. And I figured house sitting was a perfect mix with all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were thinking either retiring finally, if we decide to settle down, either in Austria, because my dad's from Austria, my mom's from Germany, or in Portugal, because I have a girlfriend from Bulgaria who's lived a long time in Portugal. In fact, she's stuck in Bulgaria right now because of the virus. She went over there just before all this happened. Her husband was supposed to join her a month later, and he's still stuck here, and she's there. And so we've been doing a lot of FaceTime. But, Algarve region, she says is very beautiful. I haven't been there, but I trust her.
Yeah, right.
These are fantastically international plans for your retirement. It sounds great.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah, because I have exchange students from Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, Italy. He's on the island of Sardinia, Germany, which my family's all from Germany already anyways. And then who am I missing? Japan, Thailand, Really? I think that's everyone. Yeah, because I had 2 from Japan. So, okay, yeah, that counts to everybody.
Well, that's a long tour.
Mm-hmm.
And when are you
great.
thinking of doing this? Is this in a year or so?
Well, it was supposed to be in about 2 years, but now I'm not sure. Our retirement funds took a very big hit. So we're waiting and seeing what's going to happen in the next year or 2, and then say we might have to add a year onto that schedule.
Yeah. Well, one thing we should probably say is we're actually recording this in the time of COVID-19, the lockdown that's actually pretty global.
Yeah.
So, Brigitte, have you been affected work-wise with this? And obviously your travel plans and house sitting plans have perhaps been postponed slightly. But how have you been affected work-wise?
Work-wise, it's affected us greatly because I'm a professional organizer. So obviously I can't go to people's houses and organize. And, you know, you can do some things virtually and stuff, but it's just not the same as, you know, because I work with a lot of elderly people. And, you know, it's the physical lifting and getting the stuff out of their house and sorting it and doing all that stuff. And you just can't do that virtually with those people, you know. So that's really, I mean, like everything just dried up. I can't go anywhere. And it, you know, work-wise, my husband's now had to work from home. So he's underfoot all the time here, which I'm not used to. So, and then I've got, you know, college student that, you know, she's now taking classes online here at the house. So she's in the dining room table, he's in the TV room, you know, and trying to coordinate everybody and get stuff done. And my other daughter, the youngest one, the 18-year-old, she happened to go visit the oldest kid's house. And that was like 2 days before we found out that Erica had COVID. And so she was going to come back. And I said, no, don't even come back. We're taking over your room to put her in to keep her separate from everybody. So she's still at my oldest son's house because they work at a bank. And so they're still working. And I said, well, you guys are exposed. So if you don't care, just stay there.
Right.
Because we don't need to bring more of it back here.
Yeah.
Yes, smart. That's
And is the
smart.
lockdown fairly serious in Michigan outside of your home?
Pretty serious. I mean, when I had to take my dad to cancer treatments and stuff, I had to drive to the hospital. The highways are basically empty. If I wanted to go to 120, I could. But, you know, there's still people driving on the roads and stuff like that, but it's not heavy or anything like that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fascinating.
That's great that you can still get him to treatment, because my mum's got cancer too, and she has a monthly appointment with her oncologist, and the oncologist got in touch with us and was just like, it's just too dangerous to come to the hospital, so let's just kind of leave it for this month, and here's the medication, and we'll see about next month.
And Kelly, is that a hospital in central London?
It's in Hammersmith, actually. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
it's in Hammersmith. Yeah.
Mm.
So of course it's been, you know, I mean, it's anxious for everyone, but then when you start to kind of like try and figure out things logistically, and you're like, it's like everything's like a Sophie's choice, you know, like, do you go to the hospital but take the risk, or do you stay home and hope that next month she can go? It's, I mean, she's in good hands, so you know, and
I know
staying positive.
I know in Michigan, a lot of the doctors are switching over to like video calls like this and stuff like that to talk. In fact, the next one with my dad's oncologist, it was supposed to be only a 15-minute appointment. And I says, instead of me driving an hour, because I live out in the country, right, and me driving an hour into town, you know, the city, and go see him, we set it up via a telecall. And then all of his other, you know, dietitians and all those other doctors that he has to meet with and stuff, they're all on telecalls too now and stuff like that. So the only thing we really had to physically go in for was a radiation treatment, because obviously you can't do that over the telecall. And they told us where the cancer patients could come in through the back door. So we didn't even go near the hospital area or the emergency room area.
Really?
And there's a parking structure. You park on the 3rd floor. You come up through this bridge, and you come in where the employees come in. They'll check your temperature still there anyways. but you could go in and not be with everybody else, which I appreciated a lot.
That's really good. Really, really good. I'm kind of hoping that the UK takes, you know, the lead from America, and that if this goes on for months, that I hope that they set up something like that for mum and other patients, because that seems like,
because I mean, cancer doesn't go away just because COVID is happening. You still
exactly. I mean, you know, in one way, the NHS was good that, you know, her medication, which is kind of like oral chemo, came like via you know, like an ambulance delivery service, and the guy was like all, you know, masked up and everything was sealed, so you know, that was good.
And Kelly, were you given any masks or equipment, for PPE equipment for her at all?
Nothing at all. It's been just frightening. I mean, nothing. Like,
have you been able to order any through any particular supplier?
I haven't. Like, I've tried Amazon, and I went to like a bunch of sites online, and I was a bit concerned because quite a few of them seemed really dodgy, I have to say. And Amazon was saying like delivery in like 6 weeks, so
why bother?
Exactly. Yeah.
I managed to order some, but it's taking a month.
Oh, really?
I still haven't received it. Yes, either the gloves or the masks, and they had to come to different batches.
Was it? Oh, it's good that you've put the order in, though. Was that?
Well, I hesitated, thinking, you know, well, what if we don't need it and it blows over? And then I thought, don't be ridiculous. Just get on with it, you know, because the longer you leave it, the less likely you'll get it. So I just went, I just did it.
Right.
How about you, Brigitte? Did they give you any personal protection equipment when you arrived in hospital?
At the cancer, they gave us each one of those just plain surgical masks to use that we had to wear in the hospital all the time and stuff like that. And then, you know, they all had just plain surgical masks. They didn't have the N95s that are supposed to be the better ones anyways.
Right.
I'm not sure how that helps or not, but, you know, we follow protocol and stuff. A lot of people are sewing masks now. There's whole contingencies of people using their sewing machines and making, in fact, from what I understand, elastic has now sold out. You know, the thing that go around the ears, because so many people are making handmade or homemade masks and stuff like that, and they're making them and donating them to the hospitals because the hospitals don't even have enough.
Right. That's the same here.
We have the same situation.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I was watching on the BBC today all the women here in the South Coast and all over England who are sewing scrubs and making masks.
Very cool. That is amazing. I mean, I saw something on Facebook. I haven't fashioned it myself yet, but it was like basically like to make a mask with a handkerchief or a scarf, and to use you know, like hair ties as the elastic. Which I thought was that's pretty good, right? Like, that's an idea.
You can also use kitchen roll with elastic bands. Have you seen that model?
No,
I fashioned my own, and I went into Lidl shopping. You know, that was exciting. My marigold gloves, you know.
Right.
I look like something from the 1950s, sort of upside down.
I love it.
I've seen all kinds of videos. This one mom borrowed her kids from the Toy Story, the spaceman. I forgot his name. The space. She had that hat and they had the face mask in front, and that's how she went grocery shopping.
Oh my goodness!
Funny.
Gosh, it never works.
Buzz Lightyear.
That's right.
Buzz Lightyear, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, that mask, she borrowed it from the kid and stuff to go shopping.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that, you know, before, if you walked into a store with a mask on, they think you were robbing the place, and now people can't see their faces. They got their hoods on, their goggles, and all this stuff, and I mean, I've seen scuba gear. I've seen all kinds of stuff.
Scuba gear?
Really? They take the face mask from the scuba gear. They got
with their snorkel and everything.
That's hilarious.
So
Brigitte, do you have public transport still working where you are?
Detroit's not known for the public transport.
Of course not. Yeah, I'm with the car.
So
Yeah.
I assume the buses are still going in Detroit, but I don't know because I don't use them and I haven't really been following the story. I know the bus drivers striked a while ago because they had a couple of them die from COVID already. So they're all concerned that they should be more protected and stuff. I know all the grocery stores have gone to putting these plastic shields between you and the cashier now and stuff to help that out. So that's something new. At our Aldi's, they have one employee now standing in front. You don't even have to put a quarter in anymore. It's quarter, not a euro like you guys. A quarter in the shopping cart. They already have quarters in them, and she's sanitizing them and then gives it to you, and then you return to her. She sanitizes again. You know?
Oh, that's good.
So they're being very careful. They have special hours in the morning for people who have compromised systems or they're elderly or whatever, that they can shop early. Aldi set up where you go down one lane. It's all one way. You can only go this way, then down this aisle, and then up that aisle. But people still don't listen. There are a couple people going the wrong way. It's like, really? And then there's people that you're 6 feet apart.
I'm one of those people.
and I am 6 foot apart from the person. And this guy was right behind my exchange student, like standing next to her. It's like, excuse me, back off,
Yeah. I threw in the towel. I'm not going to Tesco anymore after 2 days ago. I got chided for going the wrong direction. And I said, I don't need to go down the beverage aisle. Why do I have to go down the beverages aisle? She said, you've got to go turn around and go back. I said, I'm just going to walk over this way. No, you have to go all the way down the aisle and come back up the other aisle.
Because they want to keep one-way flow, so everyone is not breathing on top of everyone,
I'm done. I'm like, I don't need anything.
So this is really affecting our daily lives. I mean, one way or another. I mean, Heidi, it's halted your house sitting for the time being. Kelly, it's put a stop to your desire to start house sitting. And Brigitte, it's postponed for the time being your retirement house sitting.
Yeah.
And it's certainly calmed things down regarding our website. We have a few house sits that come up from time to time, but usually for the very end of the year or next year. So it's very quiet right now.
Right.
But now, how do you think it's going to affect travel? From where each one of you is, have you heard about when things might open up a little bit more, or are people just kind of hunkering down? I mean, Brigitte, we hear about Donald Trump wanting to open up the whole of the country, and that sounds exciting but a little scary. So, I mean, what's the vibe in Michigan regarding opening up?
Well, Trump can say what he wants, but each of the governors of each state has the control over that. I think he thinks he's God or king or whatever, but he's not. So I know, currently our governor is saying May 4th is to see how things go and stuff. But then I hear rumors and stuff, and sometimes my husband hears things because he works for the state too, that they might be extending it. So it's like, okay, so do we go? And even if they open it up, at what point do I really trust anything right now? Because I still have my dad. I mean, the situation hasn't changed to do. I mean, the whole idea of him even going through this radiation, because he's got pancreatic cancer. So the radiation was to buy him more time. And the reason we wanted more time is because his brother lives in Vienna. So as soon as he was done with treatments, we were supposed to go in May to Vienna.
Right.
It ain't happening right now. So, so it's like, when can we go? When would it be safe to go? I have no idea. Do I even trust taking him on a plane, even if it's open?
Yeah.
So you make a very fair point there.
Yeah.
And Kelly, in London, I know that Sadiq Khan's been really very outspoken in terms of people must, self-isolate if there are issues. I have a problem with that term, but anyway, isolate themselves. But also, keep a distance in public, certainly, stay at home if you can. He's been really, really very outspoken, trying to keep everybody in mind that it saves lives. Obviously, you've put your plans on hold, but when you start thinking about house sitting, are you hoping maybe next year you'll be able to get going?
I was actually really hoping. I used to work for Sadiq actually at Parliament, but I was I was hoping, maybe naively, that at the end of the summer I might be able to start. I don't know how realistic that is. For me, I've been hearing the same things about Trump, and so I feel I would like to start by the summer or end of summer, but I guess, you know, I need to be certain, I guess like everyone, that I'm not really putting myself in danger that might then cause a lot of danger for my mum. So it's just, my intention is there, and I want to look into it, and I'd like to speak to you guys further and yourself about what's available. So I've got that intention. As soon as it lifts, I guess I'll have to like judge how safe I think it is. I mean, the really bizarre thing, and I know that we're probably all struggling with this, is that I was really sick at the beginning of the year. And I never get sick. I'm one of these people that never really get sick. And I was kind of out, and I didn't really have a temperature, but I just had a cold that wouldn't shift. And, you know, I'm wondering, have I had it? But of course, it'd be very useful, probably haven't, but it'd be very useful to know whether I'm immune, you know. So yes, sorry, rambling answer, but I would like to start at the end of the summer if it was possible, for sure.
And my doctor, because I asked about my daughter, about her, okay, when she starts back working at Starbucks,
Yeah.
be immune? And they told me no, because there are variations of it. It's mutating, and that you could get a different version of it.
Oh my God.
And
right.
I'm going, wait a minute, that's like, now what, you know?
Right.
I mean,
right.
So, I mean, we made plans, since my father's house is not being lived in right now because he's here. We are going to, when she goes back to work, she's going to live there to avoid contaminating us again, you know?
Right.
So she's going to live separately when she goes back to work.
I mean, that's kind of like what I was thinking. If like I see that, you know, I mean, mum's fine. It's just, you know, I want to make sure she's okay, because it was a fright for everyone, you know. And like the logistics of shopping, and she can't go out, obviously, etc. But like once she's cool, I guess the next thing is, you know, if I am going to start traveling, which I want to and I intend to, I'm even itchier now and fantasizing about all these places to get through this. You know, I'm thinking, you know, will I have to, whenever I go somewhere, will I have to, when I come back, like make sure that I don't see her for 2 weeks, you know what I mean, or like 3 weeks, so that I'm certain I'm clear before I make contact with her again.
Yeah, well, actually, the protocols, I think, you know, once we've got so much to get through first, haven't we? We've got the peak to get through in the UK and certain other countries. We've then got to work out what the exit strategy is, and then how do you cope on a day-to-day basis? Hopefully by then we'll all be equipped with whatever we need, whether they're masks or gloves or disposable items. You know, we'll be obviously keeping a distance and so on. But yes, in travel, when you're going on public transport, a friend of mine came back from Poland about 3 weeks ago, and each person was given a whole aisle, a whole row rather, you know, so they only had about 33 people on the plane. And the temperature was taken before they got on the plane. As they left the plane, they were swabbed, you know, so there were lots of precautions.
That's great.
Well, it was good. When they got to Heathrow, there was nothing. So that's not
so good. This is what frustrates me completely and utterly.
Yeah.
And, you know, why have we gone into lockdown as the last country? It's ridiculous. I mean, you know, my father's from Cyprus, and so we've been checking in with, you know, family there. And it's a tiny island, as you all know. And they went into lockdown like 3 weeks before we did.
Well, Greece and Cyprus have done very well. Their numbers are extremely low. I don't know how they've managed it, considering their compromised sort of health service, but they've all been very diligent. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
And so many tourists go there. I mean, a lot of people travel to Greece. You would think they would have gotten it, you know?
Right. Well, I guess they did something right.
Yeah. Well, perhaps we could ask at this point, let's focus on house sitting and be aspirational for you, Kelly. And
Thank you.
let's think about how you might get started. Heidi, you're the expert here. 30 years. That's like 3.5 times more than I've done it. So, I mean, my recommendation, and I'll start and then perhaps hand over to Heidi. My recommendation would be join 1 or 2 house sitting platforms so that you can get the benefits of the protocols of checking that they do. So we do 2 levels of checking. There's the ID check, which is important, and then there's police checking, which we recommend strongly. We don't insist on it, but we strongly recommend it. It gives homeowners confidence, and it should also give you confidence as someone who's traveling. And then the platforms should help you to build a profile that optimizes your assets as a house sitter and your experience, looking after the Chi-Chi, the cat, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So I think that's really important. At that point, I'm going to ask Heidi if you've got any recommendations for someone who's about to start house sitting, for Kelly and Brigitte.
Yeah, I never was house sitting online until last year. I started online last year. I started early online with Caretaker Gazette. But that was a whole different ball of wax, because that's you're taking care of inns and property.
Wow.
You have to know how to do all that stuff.
Right.
And
That's a professional house sitting site, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not a fixer. I'm not a plumber. I don't know electricity. I'm scared to death of electricity.
Right.
So it was great. I loved contributing to the site and helping keep them above water. But it wasn't ideal for me. Although it would be for couples who have that kind of background, it would be a great way for them to travel.
Mm-hmm.
But I started out house sitting word of mouth.
Wow.
With friends. My first house sits were with friends who had dogs, who had experience watching me around their dog, and asked, so do you ever house sit, Heidi? And the first time was probably 1980 something. And I said, I've been wanting to. And they said, well, we'll give you your first house sitting job. So
nice.
Yeah, so that was great. And then I was a house sitter for my friends in Sausalito. They had a houseboat, and they asked me if I would like to move to Sausalito and be their house sitter for however long they needed me. And it ended up being 3 years.
Wow.
So I took care of this white Persian cat for 3 years.
Oh, amazing.
I got a job in downtown San Francisco, and I went back and forth to work on the ferry, on the Sausalito ferry. It was quite a wonderful life.
Wow, you top it.
And I made friends with some people who had a giant hound dog in Mill Valley, and they asked me to house sit for him for a month. And they had a hot tub and beautiful view.
Amazing.
So then another friend, when I was in Hong Kong, asked if I could come and sit for his cats for 2 months. So when I got online onto all the websites, I got on HouseSit Match. I got on more than 2, though. I got on HouseSit Match. I got on Housesitters America. I got on Mind My House. I got on Luxury House Sitting. And the combination of all of them, and how much they vet you and what they require, like HouseSit Match requires a lot of attention to detail. You have to pay attention. You have to know where you want to go. It helps to know where you want to go. And so you decide where you'd like to go in the world, and also get really focused on the kind of animals you're skilled with. And I would recommend you get letters of recommendation from anyone who knows your skill with animals, your trustworthiness. Get them to write you a nice letter of recommendation, a testimonial, if you will. And ask around, see if any of your friends have a need for you to come and take care of their animals while they're away, and if it's just for a weekend, so they can honestly write you a review about what kind of house sitter you were for them, how your animals loved you, their animals loved you, or if you know of someone, like I have experience, I grew up in New Orleans, so I've evacuated for hurricanes, and I've evacuated with my cat and other people's animals.
Right.
And ended up bringing the animals, and so they had experience with me being around animals from those situations. So any kind of situation you've been in where you're responsible for animals or for someone's home or property, get recommendations from them, get them to write you a nice letter, or write your letter and submit it to them for their approval, and just take out the information that you would like to have them say about you, and then send it to them, and they'll approve it and edit it according to their own preference for how they'd like to be heard. But it really helps to have some great letters of recommendation and testimonial about your level of experience and responsibility and compassion. The more you have compassion, and that's actually probably the most important thing, is how compassionate you are towards people and animals.
Right.
And I would say next is responsibility, but the homeowners are going to be much more forgiving of you if you're a bit of a mess than they are if you don't treat their animals with love and compassion.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Heidi, do you house sit full time then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm a writer. So I work remotely. I do writing, and I also do social media management. So I help people with their social media accounts. And I do a few other things remotely. I'm an MC for an event, a virtual event corporation, but this is a new discovery. People just said, "Wow, you're really entertaining to have on screen. Would you like to be our virtual MC?" And I said, "Yeah, that
What's
sounds amazing."
an MC?
Master
of Ceremonies.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Cool.
Master
Okay.
Ceremonies. So I help people, like if they're coming into an event, I'm there at the main entrance where they come in and they're learning about the event and how to register and what's involved, especially these days, because it's brand new event. Virtual events is taking over. And so I'm the premier virtual event MC.
Very cool. Very cool.
Whatever.
No, that's awesome.
It's a lot of fun. I've worked in the past. I've worked as an innkeeper and in hospitality for a large part of my life. So it comes natural to greet people and help them have a better experience.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the things you haven't mentioned, Heidi, is you've got some great photos on your profile. And when people start house sitting for the first time, one of the things you don't necessarily think about is how to reflect your assets as a house sitter in your photographs, as well as the words in your profile. So have a think about that over the next few months, both of you, Kelly and Brigitte.
Okay,
You with the cat, with Chi-Chi, and but also, if you're in the gardens or gardening, if any hobbies that are appropriate for home and pet care responsibilities. I mean, have a think about the lifestyle presentation in your photographs. That can be really cool, and it's good to have time to prepare for that rather than last minute in the rain,
Right, no, totally.
Yeah, so that's something to think about if you're preparing a profile.
Are you talking about like pictures with your cat stuff?
Yeah, or with
because with you and your pets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Or if it's other people's pets, as long as it's you with pets.
It shows that you are. There you go. Fantastic. Yes, that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see it. Send it to me.
So Kelly, have a look at our website, because on the homepage you can see lots of pictures of people with their pets.
Oh, wonderful.
Just to give you an idea. I'll send you some links as well that show you the kinds of information that people want.
That would be amazing.
So I'll send it to both of you, Brigitte and Kelly.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Really helpful.
And have you both signed up to our newsletter yet?
Yes, I think that's where I got this information from.
Okay, yes, probably.
Me
Kelly,
too. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll send an email to everybody with the links to this and the links to our newsletter, just to make sure you've got everything, and then links to pages that might help you with how to present profile and so on, and get going.
That would be amazing. Really great.
And hopefully we
I
can
haven't
get
signed
going
up for the service yet because I'm figuring I'm still 2 years out. How soon in advance do people plan house sits?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, well, normally I suggest to people to sign up at least 2 to 3 months ahead of time, because if you're ready and you've had time to prepare, get your checks done and everything, and groom your profile, so to speak, curate your profile, then and you can keep looking at the ads that come up. We can set your alerts so that if you want a certain country or a certain city or certain pets only, we can set those alerts for you and practice, and so that you understand how to deal with all of that. And then once you've got the hang of the system and the software, actually, then you'll just start getting the alerts and you can jump on them. So I suggest 2 to 3 months ahead is a good time, because that gives you time to get ready, but also see what's available.
Right.
But
I would also volunteer that you might think about it ahead of that. I had the 6-week house sit that I had in West Sussex. I applied for that 8 months in advance.
Wow. Okay.
Because people plan their vacations really soon, usually. That's why I was thinking a year before I was ready to go. To get all up and running.
If there are places you really want to go, guaranteed there are people who also really want to go there.
Right.
So you're in competition with some other pretty good people. So you really want to get some great photos up. You want to get some great testimonials. And you want to be the person that they go, I really like her.
Right.
Let's get her,
Right. And how does it actually work? Do you apply as if you're applying for a job? Once you see what's available?
Well,
if you go ahead.
Now, what we suggest is when you see an advert that's appropriate for you and you think, actually, this is really cool, I want to go to Nîmes in the south of France, or I want to Vienna in Austria, and this is the place I want to go to. It has 3 bedrooms, there's only 1 cat to look after. It's perfect for me. So then you check your profile, make sure that whatever you have on the profile is relevant and you've highlighted features that are important for this homeowner and the house sit. But then write an equally enriched application. Don't just assume that they're going to quickly read your profile. Give the information and more that's tailored to the house sit, so that you can draw out other experience perhaps you haven't sort of featured in your profile. I think it's really important to make a really good effort, because as Heidi said, some of them can be super popular. And even though we're not an enormous site, we have had 20, 25 applicants for the most popular house sits.
Right.
You really want to give it your best shot, because if it does work, you can have some great conversations with the homeowners. I've made some fantastic friends house sitting.
Amazing.
There's a lady I house sat for her 4 dogs and 12 hens and 2 cockerels in France, just outside of Paris. She and I sort of message on a monthly basis. In fact, when I was 6, she was messaging me all the time, sending me jokes. I mean, you just make really good friends, because it's a very intimate relationship. You're living in someone's life, someone's space.
Absolutely.
It can be great fun. So put your best foot forward is what I would say. Do take the application as seriously as your profile.
Okay.
Do you have a lot of repeat house sits? Like, for example, you just made good friends with this person in France. Next time they go on vacation, do they just call you then instead?
Well, I have house sat for her 3 times, I must confess.
Oh, wow.
I had such a great time. And it wasn't that she called me, but the second time, for example, my daughter her dance school was dancing at Euro Disney. And this house sit was literally 25 minutes from Euro Disney. So I called her and I said, look, you're not going away in October, are you, by any chance? I would like to be in or around Paris between this date and this date, and I'll flex around you. And she said, yeah, absolutely. So we organized it that way.
Wow.
Every time she wanted to go away just ad hoc, and she said, you're not free between this date and this date, are you? I said, yes, I am. But that's just our example. Other people sometimes do repeat sits because it just works between them. Sometimes the timing doesn't always work, so they post an advert and they look for someone new. So, I mean, Heidi, you'll have had many repeat sits, I would imagine, in 30 years.
2. I've had 2. I've been doing a lot of going all different kinds of places. Actually, no, I've had 3 that repeat. Well, one was for 3 years. That, I guess that's considered a repeat.
Or one long job.
Yeah. It's the one in Mill Valley, that was a repeat. The one in New Orleans was a repeat. The one in Hong Kong, I wasn't going to travel back across the world to house sit for him for the second time, because I would have had to pay for that, and no, I'm not going to go back to Hong Kong. That's a 20-hour flight. But I was living in Hong Kong when I took that house sit, so that was much better. But it hasn't been a continuous house sit. I would just house sit when the opportunity arose. But otherwise, I'm in hospitality off and on for forever.
Does anyone have any other questions?
Would it be possible to kind of stay in touch maybe with everyone, and also like as and when I try to get and maybe get like a list of other house sit ones that you said I should check out, that would be good, and really just to stay in touch until I'm up and running and I know how to work things. Would that be possible to do?
If you're in agreement, I can certainly share email addresses, but I can't do that unless you're all in agreement.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm happy to sort of copy if everyone's okay and there's no objection. I'll put you on CC rather than BCC so that you have each other's emails and you can keep in touch.
That would be amazing.
I'll certainly email back the link to the recording, which will be slightly edited, and also all the other information I promised about how to prepare your house sitter account and so on.
Wonderful. That sounds incredible.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. It's been like a light in the clouds.
Yeah.
I hope you're safe.
Something to look forward to in the future, hopefully.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, and as we say, do stay in touch, and I'll send you an email next time we have a hangout in case you have more time to spare.
Perfect.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Everybody stay safe.
Stay
Yes.
safe. Absolutely.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.